Request everybody present here to kindly be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your kind attention, please? We are, we are indeed pleased to have with us the Honourable Union Minister, Dr Jitendra Singh ji, and host of dignitaries amongst us. I request all of you to kindly be seated. Namaste and good afternoon to one and all. I'm Bijit Kumar Chaudhary, your anchor for the day. I welcome you all to the inaugural program, I Connect, Connecting Research with Industry at CSIR, Northeast Institute of Science and Technology, CSIR NEIST, Jorhat. I Connect is a program of the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which has been jointly organized by DBT, DST, Ministry of Earth Sciences, DSIR, and Niti Aayog. It has been a tradition in India that we begin every auspicious occasion by invoking the blessings of the Lord. As we seek the blessings of the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, I invite Ms. Sudipta Borwa for rendition of the Saraswati Bandhana. Thank you.
नमस्कार. Bhagavati Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borwa, for the soulful rendition. It is an honor for me to invite the dignitaries on the stage. To commence the inaugural function, may I have the honor to invite on stage Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honourable Union Minister for Ministry of Science and Technology, Earth Science, Prime Minister's Office PMO, Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Space, and Vice President CSIR. I request Dr. G.N. Shastri, Director CSIR NEIST, to kindly accompany him. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for the Honourable Union Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji. We have with us the Honourable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology, and Information Technology, Government of Assam, Sri Keshav Mohanda Dangoria. Sir, may I kindly request you to take your seat on the stage. It is my privilege to invite on stage Dr. V.K. Saraswat, Member, Science and Technology, Niti Aayog, and Chairman, iConnect Advisory Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our dignitaries on the dais. It is my proud privilege to invite on stage the Honourable Member of Parliament to Rajya Sabha from Assam, Sri Kamakhya Prasad Tashaji. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please put your hands together for Sri Tashaji. Thank you, dignitaries, for your gracious presence. We have the tradition to commence an auspicious occasion with the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. Let us resonate ourselves with the divine vibrations.
Deepa Jyoti Param Jyoti. Deepa Jyoti Param Jyoti. Deepa Jyoti Janardana. Deepo Bharatu Me Papam. Deepa Jyoti Namostute. Shubham Karotu Kalyanam. Arogyam Sukha Sampadaha. Vesha Buddhi Vinashaya. Atma Jyoti Namostute. Atma Jyoti Pradiptaya. Brahma Jyoti Namostute. Brahma Jyoti Pradiptaya. Guru Jyoti Namostute.
Dignitaries on the stage. I request Director CSI Needs to felicitate our Honourable Union Minister and Vice President CSIR, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji. We are now going to felicitate the Honourable Minister, Government of Assam, Sri Keshav Mahanta Dangoria. I kindly request Dr. G. N. Shastri to do the honours. We are now felicitate the Honourable Minister, Government of Assam, Sri Keshav Mahanta Dangoria. We are indeed pleased to felicitate Dr. V.K. Saraswat. I kindly request Dr. Shastri to do the honours. We are indeed delighted to felicitate the Honourable Member of Parliament to Rajya Sabha from Assam, Sri Kamakya Prasad Tasha. Thank you, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, can we have a big round of applause to capture this beautiful moment?
The program has also been graced by the presence of some more dignitaries who are going to address us virtually. We are now going to have the audio-visual presentation of the Honorable DG CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale. Thank you. And we have the audio-visual with us. Can we have the audio-visual, please?
Namaskar to all of you. Honourable Minister of State for Independent Charge for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Member SNT Niti Aayog and Chairman of iConnect Advisory Committee, Dr. V.K. Saraswat ji, Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India and Co-Chairman of iConnect Advisory Committee, Professor Ajay Kumar Sood ji, Honourable Minister of Science and Technology for Assam, my fellow secretaries, Director CSIR NEAST, and directors and heads of various other CSIR organizations, industry partners, directors and head of other SNP divisions, and all the participants who have joined physically and online. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm very happy to welcome all of you on this inaugural event of iConnect, which is a unique series of iconic 75 Industry Connect events that is to showcase S&T achievements in various research domains. This has been organized to mark the importance of 75 years of independence of our nation as we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav throughout the year. I must say that this event was really inspired and conceived by Honourable Minister, where he wanted all of us to come together and participate in an activity to consolidate efforts and so that you can bridge the gap between the research and industry and reach out to industries to collaborate with our scientific and technological achievements, and also in a way such that the specialized theme of research is conveyed across over a period of time. These interdepartmental 75 iconic iConnect events are spanning over a period of 3 months, and they are going to be taking place in 10 different research themes that will showcase the achievement of S&T areas across various departments of Science and Technology Ministry and Earth Sciences. These areas are, I list them here: S&T Innovation and Incubation Ecosystem, Agri-Nutri and Biotech, Healthcare, Mining, Mineral, Metals and Materials, Aerospace, Electronic and Instrumentation and Strategic Sector, Civil Infrastructure and Engineering, Climate Change, Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ecology, Earth Sciences and Environment, Ocean Science, Water, and Energy Devices. Each thematic area has a nodal officer across various S&T department, and these events cover presentations of consolidated capabilities of research and technology and development of various departments and units that are combined together. A virtual platform has been developed such that the interactions across various technology experts, government leaders, academic scholars, industries, captains, and various startups can in fact be captured over a period of this 3 months of time. The real aim is to actually reach out to MSMEs and startups in a consolidated manner to focus on funding, technology development, and also eventually carry forward technology transfers that actually would make socioeconomic changes in the country. Aligned with the mission of our nation, the iConnect event is a mechanism and aims to foster Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant Indian mission, by developing indigenous technologies with partnership of industry and thereby contributing to the development of this country. CSIR, in fact, has a history of working with industry in a variety of ways. It has worked for the industry and it has worked with the industry in various mechanisms and ways that has strengthened the nation's progress. Even during pandemic, CSIR has worked hand to hand with many industries, Tata, Reliance, TCS, and have provided cutting-edge technologies and products in a very short period of time to mitigate the pandemic effect. The rigor of working with industry has further reinforced through this iConnect events. These events are organized in a hybrid mode and is using a platform such that it reaches out maximum possible people across the nation and even in international countries as well. The interactive platform will permit more than 10,000 people who can connect at the same time on a day-to-day basis, and therefore it's a wonderful mechanism for us to carry forward the important interactive ability across various stakeholders. There is a possibility of virtual stalls, networking lobby, platforms that one can that can further do rich streaming, live chats, question answer sessions, and also capability to use Twitter and WhatsApp handles to be able to carry forward our important discussions and ideas as we move along. We're indeed very thankful to Dr. Jitendra Singh ji for mooting this idea and for guiding us all through this process. Also the member Niti Aayog, V.K. Saraswat ji, and also previous PSA, Professor Vijay Raghavan, and the present PSA, Professor Sood, who has guided us through this. We're also thankful to industry captains, Sri Mukesh Ambani, Sri Anil Manibhai Nayak, Sri N. Chandrasekharan, Sri Baba Kalyani, Sri Adi Godrej, and various other champions of professional body like FICCI, C2, ASSOCHAM, etc., who drove initiative and concept to reality. I think this is a one of its kind and iconic event that we are actually going to do, and I hope your active participation and fruitful discussion among industries, MSMEs, academicians, administrators, and various stakeholders will make this a grand success. I again welcome you all for this event, and my apologies I could not be there for the inaugural event, but I'm sure all of you will enrich this and make it even more better. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your kind remarks. We are also honored to have the audio visual of the Honourable Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, DST, Government of India, Dr. Srivari Chandrasekhar. Can we have the audio visual, please?
Start. Namaste, greetings to all of you. Honourable Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji. Honourable Minister for Science and Technology, Government of Assam. Dr. Saraswat ji, Professor Sood, Dr. Gokhale, fellow secretaries, Director of the local Director, Dr. Narhari Shastri ji, greetings to all of you. I'm happy to be part of this important event as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We have been celebrating the 75th year of India's independence, and under the leadership of Honourable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and also the dynamic leadership of Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, we have been trying to connect ourselves to see that how science and technology can change lives of our citizens. In this connection, this important event, iConnect, has been conceived, wherein 75 events will be conducted connecting all the industry stakeholders from all sectors of science and technology. We do believe that this meeting will connect us to industries whom we have not connected so far. We have partnered with many associations and agencies so that the science and technology interventions developed by the all ministries of science and technology will reach to these industries. We also make sure that whatever interventions we made up to TRL 2, 3 or 4 levels, we partner with industries to make sure that these technologies really become commercial and become products. We have been dreaming of truly Atmanirbhar Bharat, and I'm confident that in the coming few years, India will become leader not only in making the fundamental science and publishing large number of papers, patents, but we also make sure that we connect to MSMEs, grassroots innovations through these kind of outreach programs and see that Indian science and technology ecosystem flourishes. We also make sure that whatever DST could partner in the form of either funds, grants, or also mentoring the startups, which has been a hallmark of DST. We assure the community that DST stands by what India dreams for. I'm also happy to share that when this events kickstart from today, we are also identifying network of programs wherein we showcase all the government schemes which are currently conducted by our ministry, and also make sure that the outreach activities into Northeast, Jammu and Kashmir, and also Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns where we were not able to reach before. This will make sure that the talent pool is captured and see that all those innovations which are made in not so big cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, we certainly connect to smaller towns to see that science and technology ecosystem flourishes, not just in few towns but across the country. We are also trying to connect to industry to understand what problems they have. Many a times We will go with some solutions, but this iConnect will also enable us to talk to our industry friends and understand what kind of problems they are encountering currently, so that programs can be initiated in those directions, so that the solutions can be given to industry on a fast track, on a short-term basis. DST is also launching a mega mission which is called quantum computers, so that India becomes a leader in this sector, in the new sector. We also have a major program on nano mission. We also have major programs on cyber physical systems. Currently, we are also working with the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Ministry of Petroleum, to see that how truly Atmanirbhar backward integration for chemical sector happens by identifying those building blocks and raw materials which come from the petroleum sector. I'm sure these meetings really would connect back to all the industries whom we could not connect yesterday. I wish this event all the success. Again, I sincerely thank Honourable Minister Dr Jitendra Singh ji for giving us the mentorship and leadership. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sirs, for making it to the program on virtual mode. CSIR has a fecund repertoire of analogies of societal and industrial importance and stands as a quintessential example for translational research. Northeast India is endowed with rich natural resources and is a biodiversity hotspot. It has been the endeavor of science and technology in India, and CSIR in particular, to harness the natural wealth through science and technology interventions in order to reap optimum benefit as a whole and provide livelihood to the people living below the poverty line and live up to the great ambition of our Honourable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, towards attaining the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. In the coming segment, we are going to have a glimpse of the hallmark areas where CSIR has taken a big stride. I now take the privilege to invite Dr. G. Narahari Shastri, Honorable Director, CSIR NEES to Jorhat, to kindly deliver his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. The Honourable Minister for Science and Technology and several important portfolios, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Dr. Keshav Mahanta ji, the Honourable Science and Technology Minister, and Keshav Mahanta ji also has several portfolios, and Dr. V.K. Saraswat, and our Sri Kamakhya Prasad Tasaji and fellow directors, and Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, the DGCSIR and DBT Secretary, Dr. Chandrasekhar, our DST Secretary, and all of you. It's a great pleasure for us to be here, but we have only limited amount of time, and the Honourable Minister has taken keen interest to come to Northeast and then motivate us to see how we can come together by dissolving the differences of different organizations where CSIR, DST, DBT, MOES, ICAR, ICMR, they all can come up and do something which will be good for the nation. So today I have a peculiar task of representing a number of research organizations, and also for the paucity of time, our other sister organizations could not represent. So I will try to very quickly go through what is that we can do in the medicinal, aromatic and floriculture plants and their value addition, particularly reference to Northeast, and a couple of minutes I will try to take what CSIR NEEST has done in these areas in general and other areas. So I just wanted to say, sir, with the Honourable Prime Minister's vision, we are having this aroma mission, the phase 1 and phase 2, and this has impacted a large number of people where the fundamental science is translating some of the lives of the farmers in the length and breadth of the country. And similarly, last year CSIR has launched the floriculture mission, and we have Dr. Saroj Barik, who is the director of NBRI, who was leading it, where we can connect the marketing infrastructure to value chain development, to fundamental science, and more importantly, how do you become self-sufficient in the area of floricultural plants and flavors and fragrance industry, as well as we can see whether they can be used in the natural fragrance, natural colors and medicinal utilities. So there are a number of initiatives that were taken in floriculture, and more importantly the NMPB, National Medicinal Plant Board, has shown a keen interest to see how we can do this medicinal plant cultivation. And recently in Gandhinagar there is a very big meeting with Ayush, where our Honourable Prime Minister and several ministers have come, and in the Northeast, CSIR East was given this regional felicitation center and got the responsibility of cultivating these medicinal plants in the Northeast. I have to go through this, and then aromatic plants cultivation was there for several decades, which got a new boost with the intervention of our Honourable Prime Minister, and he himself has released some of the Jorhat lab and other labs technologies. So similarly, the floriculture mission is really taking up a good shape. We are in our second year, and within a couple of years we will try to probably bring how the science and technology can make a difference in the lives of the farmers, and supporting the organic cultivation in Northeast through efficient composting, because there are several people who are involved here, and we are also having our biofertilizer technology which was given to a number of people. And more importantly, we are doing a large number of awareness training, skill development programs, and here with we have CSIR IIIM Jammu, IHBT Palampur, Jorhat Lab, and CSIR CMAP Lucknow, which is leading the aroma mission, CSIR NBRI, which is leading the floriculture mission, and more importantly we have CSIR CFTRI, which is playing a very important role in the value addition in connecting the food science with cultivation of the fruits, vegetables and medicinal plants, and also post-harvesting technology. Sir, I will very quickly say that Jorhat lab has taken the responsibility of conducting a CSIR summer research training program when the COVID struck. We gave the training to more than 16,000 people across the length and breadth of the country, and participate with the participation of a number of eminent people across the country. And in Jorhat we have created not only a COVID testing facility but entire genome sequencing facility, and this is recognized by INSACOG, and we have sequenced a large number of genomes from the Northeast, about 3,000, and more importantly we have developed this very important capacity and capability building in our exercise. And our lab has started the Center for Excellence in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning applications in a number of areas. And Honourable Prime Minister of the country has conceived an idea of drug discovery hackathon in 2020, and CSIR East has conducted it in 2020, and currently also we are taking this and it is extended for another 4 months, and then this particular program is trying to develop our self-reliance in the competition drug discovery in the country. And after several years, we have the Center for Excellence in Petroleum Research, where all the petroleum industry people are working with our group. And just now, our Honourable Minister Jitendra Singh ji, who has laid the foundation for this Steiner building, has seen that the buildings have come, and this science and technology intervention for Northeast region has the plan of hub and spoke model, where the hub will be in Jorhat, and there will be 8 different spokes in 8 different states. One more hub will be there also in Assam, and this is really going to make a big difference in the lives of some of the people who are not able to spend a lot of money in bringing the entrepreneurship. With this, I really thank all the dignitaries who have come, and the leadership of our Honourable Minister, Shri Dr Jitendra Singh ji, and our DGCSIR, Dr Rajesh Gokhale, and DST Secretary, Dr Chandrasekhar, MOES Secretary Dr. Ravichandran, and all my fellow directors, and more importantly all the farmers and entrepreneurs and a number of people who have come here, which is possible for us to do because of the dedicated work of our own scientists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your comprehensive presentation. CSIR has indeed brought about a revolution in food technologies by developing state-of-the-art technologies in par with global standards. Please welcome our next presenter, Dr. Sridevi Annapurna Singh, Honorable Director of CSIR, Central Food Technological Research Institute, CSIR CFTRI, Mysuru, to deliver on food technologies in CSIR. Ma'am, please.
A very good morning to all present. Honorable It's not seen on the screen.
No.
Sorry for this. Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Shri Jitendra Singh ji, all the dignitaries present on the dais and off the dais. I will be presenting on the food technologies for the Northeast from all the CSER labs. We are around 12 laboratories who have been working on food technologies, different aspects, and there is a lot of potential area because food is something that is very specific based on the geographical distribution, based on the soil. And there is a lot of potential area in the Northeast for fruits and vegetables, spices and plantation crops, meat, fish, poultry, as well as cereals and pulses. So what is it that CSAR can do? We have already been doing a lot of R&D for underutilized produce to increase the shelf life, to bring about wider markets for the produce for the farmers as well as novel products. So processes and technologies have been developed. We do a lot of training. We can offer equipment and machinery. India is a hub of having a lot of very unique grains, and they need specific machines for that. Testing to ensure food safety as well as mobile processing, because our farmers have smaller holdings and it is better that the processing is done on the farm to decrease the wastage that is there. So the technology packages that CSAR can offer under various verticals, maybe cereals, bakery, beverage, and so on. So currently, if we have to put a number, there are more than 400 technologies that can be offered, and more than 5,000 clients are there under the CSAR umbrella. And this can be from jams, jellies, and so on, to wafers, sausages, fermented foods, ready to eat, ready to cook. All of these packages are available with CSAR. Some examples are the herbal fumigant formulation for stored grains, because in the supply chain you find that storage is one of the places where a lot of wastage of food is seen. Under nutrition, India has 200 million people who go hungry, and protein, energy, malnutrition, as well as micronutrient deficiencies are very prevalent in our country, especially among women and children. So there are a large number of technologies that are developed, including high protein foods and micronutrient rich foods. Fortification of atta, for example, which is being used in many of the government intervention programs in some of the states, as well as the public distribution systems. In the state of Odisha and Himachal Pradesh too, nutrition outreach programs have been using many of the technologies that have been developed by the CSAR labs. Mushroom is one of the produce of the Northeast, which can be very well developed because it is a rich source of vitamin D, which India has nearly 80% deficiency of vitamin D. Local cereals and grains, unique novel products can be got with very good shelf life. Edible bamboo products, again, Northeast is a very good source of this. Lot of raw material, honey production and product development, as well as insect protein hydrolysates. This is one product that is unique as a breakfast item that has been developed for the Northeast. Again, India is seeing an explosion of lifestyle related diseases. 1 in 4 is predicted to be diabetic, and we are the global leaders of cardiovascular disease too. So we do need foods because diet and disease is very intricately related. And how do you manage the weight? How can we have low GI foods? And a lot of technologies have been developed, including specific molecules like oxyresveratrol, which can be used for addressing these issues. Many of the processed foods especially have a lot of synthetic additives, and can we now substitute them with natural colors? That can be of great use because the consumers are depending more and more on processed foods, and a large intake of some of these additives can lead to lifestyle related diseases. So natural colors, herbal salts, this particular technology has high potassium and low sodium contents. Medicinal products can be one of the way to address also. And similarly, many of Northeast especially has turmeric, which has a very high content of curcumin, but the traditional processing method actually involves a lot of boiling and drying in the sun, which means that there is loss of curcumin. So there are technologies to bring down the time as well as increase the curcumin content in this. Similarly for ginger, as well as mushrooms and lime lemons and other spices. Including pepper. In case of vegetables, again, crispy vegetables, minimally processed cut vegetables, many of us do not have time even to prepare the vegetables. Therefore, minimally processed cut vegetables, which will have all the nutritional, which is protected, as well as dehydrated vegetables, pickles, and so on, can be offered. Similarly, for cereals and grains, parboiling is one technology which the CSER technology is used by 80% of the industry in Asia. And this can be offered, including for the black rice from Assam. Many products under meat, fish, and poultry processing sector. Biodegradable products from agro residues. A lot of agro residues are available and they are not really utilized, but they can be value added so that the farmer gets a better price. Then we can offer testing. Many of the labs are definitely approved by FSSAI for testing foods, nutritional labeling, toxicity and nutraceuticals, as well as profiling of many of the ethnic foods like honey, and detection kits for adulteration in the foods. We can help in setting up of the NABL accredited labs, help in nutritional labeling, nutraceuticals and bioactives. Many ethnic foods have this, can be validated. We can offer training. Already in the Northeast, CSER labs have been doing a lot of training. Even in food technologies, we have been conducting workshops and conferences, short-term training programs, and especially we have been training the women self-help groups to equip themselves to start producing food. Many skill development training programs, be it in Shillong, Dimapur, Gangtok, Agartala, Guwahati and Imphal, have been already done, which has been sponsored by EPIDA, and we continue to work in this, especially for women self-help groups. In case of equipment for the food industry too, a lot of equipment has been developed, like dryers, water filters, primary processing machinery, cold stores, processes like flaking and popping protocols for cereals and grains, cook stoves, bakery ovens, and so on. So these are some of the machines that have been very popular, which have been developed by CSER labs. Similarly, in post-harvest processing technologies too, a large number of machinery, which is mainly suited for the MSME, also have been developed. And these have been also used to understand how they can be used for the local produce like dehydrated fish in the Northeast. Right now, we have also developed a mobile processing unit for Northeastern India. It has been funded by DST and TIFAC, and this will be very useful to go from farm to farm, so that small quantities, around 50 kgs also can be produced, and this will ensure that there is value addition to the processes. Further, the machines which are inside the van can also be substituted. So one day it could be fruit and vegetables, the other day it can be that spices are getting processed. So all of this is possible even in the mountainous terrain of the Northeast. Like I said, it is around 50 kgs per batch, and it is going to be very versatile, and we can also have training with these vans so that the local people can themselves train, and then finally they can start using it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us on CSI food and technologies through your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our next presenter on leather and leather products, Dr. K.J. Sriram, Honorable Director, CSIR Central Leather Research Institute, CSIR CLRI, Chennai. So I kindly request you to stick to the stipulated time limit of 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon to the Honourable Minister and others on the dais and off the dais. I am just going to take how CSIR has been taking the nation building through leather and leather products during the last 75 years. In this, it's a travelogue of the CSIR in association with the academy and the industry. So, the CSIR was the first of the organization and the only organization in the country which established a research institution truly dedicated to leather. And in this process, they also built up an academy in relationship with the University of Madras then. So if you go back and trace what has the leather sector achieved in the last 75 years, you would find that today we are exporting about 40,000 crores worth of leather, footwear, and other accessories, as against 0.3 crores in 1947. The employment potential of this industry today has touched 44.2 lakhs, 40% of which is women workforce, which was just 50,000 in 1947. In terms of exports, we today export material worth about 5.88 billion as against almost nothing in 1947. We have an abundance of raw material, but in those days, the recovery rates was very, very low, and today we have one of the best recovery rates of the hides and skins in the world. So having said this, this is where we are. We are producing about 13% of the world leather. We are the second largest exporter of leather products in the country, in the world, with an annual production of about 2.6 billion pairs of footwear. We are the second largest consumer after China, and 48% of it we export of what we manufacture. The fifth largest global exporter in leather goods and accessories, and the third largest, one of the best quality saddleries and harnesses come from this country. So how has this all happened? While we do the technology, what has also happened is that the government of India has been supporting the industry to implement these technologies as well. So the increasing the value realization from poor grade raw materials, which was present in those days, processing and finishing technologies came up. The government of India supported the procuring of new range of machines. Fashion and design was brought into the country. We have today the ability to predict fashion trends 18 months in advance. The government of India now, in a new scheme, is setting up design studios in the country. Cost of compliance to the environmental norms. Today, India is one of the best environmentally compliant leather industry in the world. and Government of India supports the common effluent treatment plants in this country. Just to give you a glimpse, this is what has been funded through the Department of Commerce, Government of India. Machineries from world over have been brought to India to improve the productivity. You will find that the common effluent treatment plants in the country have been modernized. They have all even adopted solar energy systems to take care of their costs. Now, let me go into processing. We have introduced some of the best processing techniques in the world, such as moving away from chemicals to enzymes, increasing the uptake of the metal ions from 60% to 90%, completely removing water in tanning and going to zero. More than 100 tanneries have adopted these technologies already out of the 600 odd of them there. We have recovered value from wasted hides, trimmings, and others. And we also have automated fault diagnosis systems. These are some of those which are there. I will not go much into this, but we'll tell you that it's a very good opportunity to invest in leather sector in India, thanks to the support of the Government of India on these aspects. And if that is the stage, the first thing that we do is to create entrepreneurship. And the stage 0 is to create an awareness on ethnic designs, fabrics, and resource strengths. This is a program which we had done in Assam. And this is how we introduce the leather sector. And this is one of those sectors where with very low investments, you can create entrepreneurs in the value chain. Then comes the baseline survey to understand what is the strength of the state and where should we invest on. This is a recent activity which we had done in Leh and Kargil for the Ladakh region. And this baseline survey then subsequently leads to a report where the government can now decide where to invest on. This is currently almost ready for the Jammu Kashmir sector as well. Then we move to the stage 2, where we ignite young minds to entrepreneurship through one-day workshops. This is a glimpse of what we had done in Leh as well as Kargil, where you will find that more than about 100 people had attended. And in Kargil, it was predominantly women who had attended the entrepreneurship training program. Those of them who are interested move to the third stage of a 30-day skilling activity. These are glimpses of what we had done there. Then in Manipur and Imphal. So here, sir, if you would like at the bags that are displayed here, you will find that we have imbibed the traditional colors, the designs that is a part of that sector as well. So this becomes very ethnic in character and also finds a very good model for export material. Subsequently, for those who are interested to grow in the sector, we introduce to them to a diploma programs, and once they get their diploma program, then we introduce them in the last stage to the fashion world. We introduce them to the colors, we introduce them to the buyers, and then help them link with them. So this is how the leather industry grows through the CSIR system. So we have immense growth potential, a very high employment opportunity, high returns on investment, potential for inclusive growth, because most of the downtrodden people work from the homes and earn money in the footwear sector. It's a promising aspect of Atmanirbhar Bharat, potential to meet several self-development goals through leather. And of course, for those who are investing in leather, the Government of India has, the various state governments today fund more than 50% of their investments into the sector. So we are a reliable technology partner, and we also produce high quality trained manpower through various host of institutions. And of course, India today is an international brand. So let me close by saying that leather is a good place to invest on. It's the technology leadership of this country, and of course it promises growth for India. Thank you very much.
So we are indeed grateful to you for updating us on CSI leather and leather products. One of the key goals of science and technology in our country, and CSIR in particular, has been to translate its technologies to the field in order to develop the temperament of entrepreneurship and enthusiasm for inculcating the spirit of self-reliance among the new generation. To showcase the cutting-edge technologies in a nutshell, CSIR has developed a compendium of technologies to facilitate the aspiring entrepreneurs. To release the CSIR compendium of technologies for entrepreneurship of relevance in Northeast India, may I kindly request the dignitaries on the stage to release the document. Thank you, sirs. We have with us Honorable Member Science and Technology, Niti Ayog, and Chairman iConnect Advisory Committee, Padma Bhushan, Dr. V.K. Saraswat. Sir, you may kindly address the audience.
Good afternoon, Namaskar. Honourable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honourable Minister of Science and Technology for the Assam government, Shri Keshav Mohanta ji. We also have with us the member of Rajya Sabha, Shri Kamakhya Prasad Tassa. On the web we have Rajesh Gokhale ji, Chandrasekhar ji, and Dr. Narihari, Director NIST, all the esteemed directors of various laboratories of CSIR, distinguished scientists of NIST, ladies and gentlemen. I am really happy and honored to participate in the inaugural function of iConnect. iConnect is a concept which has been propagated by Department of DSIR and DST together, basically to actually strengthen the relationship between the industry and academia and the national laboratory, which is the need of the hour. All of us know that it's only when the interaction between industry, academia and the national laboratories is stronger, then you will be able to have a symphony which will lead to the growth through innovation. The fact that this program is designed in such a manner that more than 75 industries will participate and they will have the benefit of knowing what has been developed in the various CSIR labs in the various scientific institutions in the country and probably take those technologies to the commercial plane. You all know that India today is a knowledge society. We have graduated from an agrarian society, industrial society, information society and knowledge society, and we are doing knowledge with our focus on innovation. Now, who has set this agenda for innovation? It's our Honourable Prime Minister, who said in the 2015 Science Congress that it is science and technology which is the backbone for society's economic growth. The research and development has to be done in various scientific laboratories, academic institutions, in collaboration with the industry to promote the culture of innovation. And he very clearly focused on that particular aspect. And he also said that only when three of you will join hands, collaborate, then the real symphony will be there, and that symphony will create the music of economic growth. That is what he said. Now, how well that can be achieved? From 2015 onwards, there has been a major shift as far as the research and development in various R&D organizations has been done. And that is going from just generation of knowledge, we have now shifted to translational research. And that translation research has really resulted in making a major impact. How that impact is witnessed? That during the last 7 years today, if you see, India has really changed its position on the Global Innovation Index from 85 to today 47. That has been the jump in just about 5 to 7 years. And you will be very happy to know that this has created a major cultural shift. Today India is also called as a startup nation because we have got more than 68,000 startups which are identified, and out of that even 100 are unicorns. So this is the shift that has taken place. But one thing is there, we have jumped from 85 or 87 to 47 over 5 years. I personally believe that this particular jump can further be leapfrogged if we are able to really bring more and more involvement of the industry in the innovation cycle. Now, historically speaking, how we have achieved this in the past, because I have been in the science and technology ecosystem of the country for the last almost since 1972 when I joined service as a scientist, and you can imagine I have seen various facets of the technology development, technology transfer and things like that. we had instrumented mechanisms like NRDC and such other mechanisms which are responsible for taking the laboratories technology to the industrial domain without actually knowing what the industry wanted, and that's why the impact of such TOTs was not very significant. Actually, ideally, there should be a slight shift in that, and that is what has been tried out, and iConnect certainly is a step in that direction. Academia, national laboratories should carry out as they are doing today the basic research, and they bring down the technology to, as I think the director NIST was telling, TRL 3 or 4, which is not the technology which can be immediately commercialized. And no industry will actually would like to make an investment at that particular stage. So basic research becomes a major portfolio of the national laboratories, academia, funded by the mostly government institutions. Then comes the area so that you can do proof of concept, a certain amount of funding which will be doing that. Once you have reached TRL 4, 5, then the industry participation can start, and that industry participation can go in a dynamic manner in such a way that it can lead to TRL 6, 7, 8, and then finally commercialization. Actually, US did a very great job in this particular exercise. Who should fund what stage of this innovation cycle? The TRL 3, 4 stage has to be funded by the governments. TRL 4, 5 onwards should be joint funding between government and the industry, and commercialization phase should be about 80 to 90% funding from the industry and about 10 to 15% funding. But most important part here is the hand-holding of the national laboratories of the industry so that the entire technology is assimilated and then you are able to convert it into a major product. That is what we are talking of in this particular case. So iConnect, what we want to do is that we will create that kind of an innovation system which will be complementary, and we will be need-based, what the industry wants and what we can provide for. Then there is another major area which needs our attention. Today we have large number of technologies in various laboratories of the country which are at TRL 6 and 7, which can lead to missions. What we call as the mission? Those missions, for example, we can have a bamboo mission. For the state of Assam, we know that we have got a huge cultivation of bamboo. Now, bamboo can be converted into economic agenda by which you can have bamboo wood, bamboo yarn, bamboo, construction material and variety of things. And today, looking at the climate change, bamboo is one of the things which absorbs the maximum carbon dioxide. So that becomes another area which you should look at it. So the mission mode projects we should have in such a manner that the industry joins hands the moment the mission has been started. Today, if I look at the industry, suppose I want to do bamboo, or if I want to do any pharmaceutical, or madam mentioned about horticulture, or somebody talked about nutraceuticals. If you are starting that as a mission and it is already a TRL 6.5, then you should bring the industry right in the beginning, have a joint development, take it from in a mission mode with a participative involvement of the funds as well as effort, and that will be responsible for the success. We experimented this model, and under the leadership of our former president, late Dr. Abdul Kalam, when he started the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, he said that we will not do the development and production in sequential manner. He told the government at that time that we should do development and production in a parallel mode, ensuring that the production facilities, because the private industry was not all that developed at that point in time in 1980s, so it was decided that there will be a fundamental investment in the upgradation of the production facilities in parallel with the development of the missile systems. And the industries like PSUs will participate in the development right from the beginning. This resulted in a major shift in terms of compression of time plus technology transfer in real time, leading to more than about 200 industries graduated from a very, very micro and mini industry. And today, if I look at them, today they are 200, 300, 400 crore industry. That is the kind of growth that took place. So this is the kind of picture we can probably follow when we want to do as part of the iConnect. So I personally believe that the government has really created today a very good ecosystem. If you see for the innovation, you have Atal Innovation System, Defense has got IDEX, we have got DST's innovation system, we had BIREC which is also promoting it, we have Agni. So variety of things are there today which are promoting ecosystem, which has resulted in the number of startups and things like that. But what is needed now is more and more we are seeing that people are ready to invest. That syndrome what we used to call earlier was a risk averse. Our industry was risk averse. That syndrome is slowly going away. And that is what we want to do through iConnect. That risk averseness which we used to see in the industry, that they were not ready to take risk unless there is a cooked food available, that we will be able to remove by this kind of interaction. I hope that large scale, my wish is that this process should also actually create what we call as investment by industry in the research and development. The more they will interact with the national laboratories, CSIR laboratories and all that, I think slowly their R&D culture also will improve. It's only when that R&D culture goes to a significant level, then we will be able to see the real economic growth, and this iConnect is one step in that direction. I hope that iConnect will facilitate our R&D in industry through the schemes of stage involvement in industry and academia driven R&D facilities. Another point I want to say is, if we want to spur innovation and we want to really bring the industry, we should set our priorities very clearly. We should do the catalyzation in such a manner that our areas are identified. Today, if I want to identify some areas, we should look at manufacturing, we should look at aerospace and defense, we should look at agriculture, we should look at health, we should look at smart cities, smart systems, 5G, 6G, AI, ML, data sciences, smart grids, energy, renewable energy, and all kinds of things which are very, very important. And for the state of Assam, I would say we should look at bamboo in a big way. I hope this iConnect, which is being inaugurated today, with the help of and with all of you and under the leadership of our Honourable Minister of Science and Technology, we will be able to make a major change when 75 industries will interact with large number of our CSIR labs and national laboratories and shake hand to take the technology from what it is today to the real commercial market, and that will ensure that there is a significant amount of economic growth leading to Atmanirbharta as our Honourable Prime Minister has dreamt. I hope this and wish that the iConnect will be the real engine of growth in future, and we will achieve Atmanirbharta in all segments. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. We are also honored to have the audio-visual from Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, Professor Ajay Kumar Sood. Can we have the audio-visual, please?
Respected Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr Jitendra Singh ji, Member Niti Aayog, S&T and Chair of the iConnect Advisory Committee, Dr V.K. Saraswat ji, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I apologize for not being able to participate in today's inaugural event of iConnect. I thank our Honourable Minister, Dr Jitendra Singh ji, for his understanding of my absence, as we are in the process of completing the important documents for National Research Foundation. In a historic move, all the departments of Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Sciences are coming together to organize a series of iconic 75 Industry Connects, iConnect, events to showcase the achievements in various S&T areas to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and forge partnership with industries and academia. The effort of Ministry of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences aligns very well with efforts of the Office of PSA, which held 13 important meetings with line departments, ministries and the S&T departments like CSIR, DSIR, DBT, Earth Sciences, Atomic Energy and Space in 5 areas: So let me elaborate those areas. First, energy and climate change mitigation. Second, infrastructure and industries. Third, agriculture, food and nutrition. And fourth, education, skilling and social empowerment. And five, health. These areas are covered in themes chosen for iConnect events. The emphasis was on solution-driven R&D in public R&D system to address challenges of the line ministries and improving the economic competitiveness of industries and government service delivery to citizens. Line ministries have identified their 204 technological needs. iConnect provides a forum through which researchers, academia and industries could come together and try to address the challenges to address the technological needs of line ministries. iConnect should help consolidate efforts of S&T departments to reach out to their partners. The purpose is to forge partnerships with industry in thematic focus areas. Once again, with my apologies for missing this event in person, I wish this unique initiative a grand success and thank each one of you for your enthusiastic participation. My wishes are with you for a very exciting and fruitful time ahead. Jai Hind.
May I now request Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Most Scientist from BIREC, to say a few words on this occasion, very briefly. Ma'am, I kindly request you to finish your speech within a time limit of 2 minutes.
Is that? Load किया हुआ। दो slides। Respected dignitaries on the dais, all the participants here, good afternoon everyone. So before we initiate interaction with startups and entrepreneurs, I will provide you a very brief overview on the efforts made by BIREC in Northeast area and for nurturing innovation and entrepreneurship, which is a key driver as per the National Biotechnology Development Strategy formulated by Department of Biotechnology in consultation with all stakeholders. So as you all know, the biotech has been recognized as a sunshine sector, and current bioeconomy has now crossed $70 billion US, and we are having a target of to achieve 150 billion bioeconomy by 2025. So BIREC, as you all know, that set up by Department of Biotechnology is an industry academia interface to promote public-private partnership for discovery and innovation in biotech industry in India. So the focus is on the entire product development chain, right from ideation to proof of concept, early and late stage translational research, validation, scale up and commercialization through its various schemes and programs and national missions. So in this slide, you can see the efforts made by BIREC for nurturing techno-entrepreneurship in Northeastern region. 7 specialized bioincubator centers have been established in Northeastern region. They are connected with all the 64 BioNest network, which has been established by BIREC across the country. In order to create a pipeline of biotech entrepreneurs in this region, a special call under Biotechnology Ignition Grant was announced, and I am happy to inform that Ignition Grant has been awarded to 10 entrepreneurs. And also efforts have been made
for creating a pool of skilled manpower by providing training and workshops, by engaging states, local research institutions, universities and colleges. And you can see at the right side of this that this is a BioNest which is at Kit Odisha now is building that entrepreneurial ecosystem in northeastern region, and then they have reached to more than 4,500 innovators, and also they have established around 15 collaborative projects here, and also there are more than 30 mentors in northeastern region, and they are now building biotech innovation system in across the northeastern region. So many of the entrepreneurs are here in the audience, and they are going to share their experiences with us, and in this whole network of BioNest, which has been supported and promoted by BIREC in northeastern region. Thank you.
I request Ms. Kalpana Chutia, weaver trained under CSI Integrated Skill Initiative from Bekajan, Titabor, to come up to the stage and share with us your experience in brief. I also request Mr. Amit Kumar Jain, Director, Aroma India Private Limited, Rajapara, Kamrup, Assam, to also come up to the stage and share his experience in brief.
Aji Hobhar, Honmanior, Sri Jitendra Singh, Kendriya Mantri Sri Jitendra Singh Dangoria, Aru Kamakhya Prasad Sir, Aru CSI Nestor Dipankar Neuk Sir, Aru Hobhat Upostito, Hokoluleke, Mur Phalabar Antorik, Hewa Agbahalu. Namaskar, Mur Nam Kalpana Chutia, Moi Himantawati, Nagalandor, Bekajan Gaur Egoraki, Hipini Hoy, Aru CSI Nestor Zoriate, Amak etar Vitorwa Zegar, Amar Bekajan Bahud Vitorwa Zegar, Tat etar Prokikhon Disile, Tini Mohiar, Tat Solis Goraki Mohilai, Prokikhon Loa Hoisile. Amar Potigoraki Hipini, Mati Halat Tat Boisile. Mati Halat Jedi Tat Boy, Bahut Homoy Lage, or Tarpra, income source to Nohoi. He Karne, CSI Nistok, Moi Dhoinabad Janaisu, Tekhet Luke, Uroniar Makur, Etar, Prokikhon Disile. Prokikhonor Zoriote, Prokikhon Jetia He Hoisile, Tetia Amar, Atmohai Gutor, Grace Organization or Pra, CRF or Rin Tour, Potigoraki Mohilai, Solis Goraki Mohilak Disile, Solis Goraki Mohilai, Loisile. Ekhonakon, Zekardor Halkinisile. Zate, Kom Dinner Vitorot, Kom Homoyot Mane, Kenedore Zekard Halot, Product Besi Upadan Koribo Pare. Tar Pasor Pojepra, Mohila Hakole, Potigoraki Mohilai, Tinikhor Mohilar, Prokikhon Hall, a Prokikhon Horprosot, Prokikhon Homohia Paveloa Hoisil, Kinto come to ঘরে ঘরে কৰিছিলে এতিয়া প্ৰতিগৰাকী মহিলাই 6000 পৰা 9000 পৰ্যন্তৰ অৰ্থনৈতিক দেখত নিজৰ পৰিয়াল পৰিচালনা কৰিবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছে আৰু মই নিজেও এগৰাকী হিপিনি ময়ো নিজকে ভাবো যে ময়ো স্বাৱলম্বী হৈছো আমাৰ প্ৰডাক্টবিলাক বাহিৰলৈ যোৱা হয়, হায়দৰাবাদ আৰু বাংগালোৰলৈ গৈছে। তাতো আমাৰ শিপিনীসকলৰ কামৰ পৰিচয় পোৱা হৈছে যে আমাৰ বেকাজান এডোখৰ ভিতৰুৱা জেগাৰ পৰা শিপিনীসকলে গাঁৱত থাকিও ঘৰৰ কাম বন কৰিও নিজৰ উপাৰ্জন কেনেকৈ কৰিব পাৰিছে, অৰ্থনৈতিক দিশত অতি কম সময়ৰ ভিতৰত স্বাৱলম্বী হ'বলৈ সক্ষম হৈছে। মই এইখিনিতে ধন্যবাদ দিব লাগিব স্নেপদৰ শ্ৰীযুত প্ৰকাশ ঠাকুৰ ডাঙৰীয়াই আমাক ট্ৰেইনিং লোৱাত সহায় কৰিছিলে আৰু দীপাংকৰ নেওগ ছাৰেও সহায় কৰিছিলে। প্ৰতিজনী শিপিনী হয়, ময়ো শিপিনী, সেইকাৰণে প্ৰতিজনী শিপিনীৰ ফালৰ পৰা মোৰ ফালৰ পৰা সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ জনাই মোৰ বক্তব্য সামৰণি মাৰিলোঁ।
Good afternoon, Honourable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr Jitendra Singh ji, Dr Montoji Dangoria, distinguished guests, senior scientists and directors of various CSI labs. Since time is short, I'll just say on behalf of the industry that sir, it's indeed a momentous occasion for us that you choose Northeast and Jorhat to inaugurate this iConnect, and this deserves a big applause from all of us, from the Northeast people. Earlier, we used to get all the things at the last part of the year or the term of the policies. But this time, it started from Northeast. So it's indeed a big day for us. I am sure that this iConnect will reduce the gap between industry and commerce and the research institutions and will immensely benefit from it. NIST Jorhat has taken many big initiatives over the years in the last 5 decades. And I'm happy that again this initiative has started from here. And we feel that this will lead to large number of employment and livelihood generation in this part of the country. I thank all the stakeholders, a big namaskar and thanks again for this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, dear entrepreneurs. I'm sure you all will prove to be a guiding lamp for the youngsters to follow. Our leaders are our think tanks and stalwarts to whom we look up to for boosting our morale and guide us in our endeavor to serve the nation. Therefore, it is a niche opportunity for us to hear from the Honourable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Information Technology, Government of Assam, Shri Keshav Mohanta. Sir, I kindly request you to address the August gathering. So please.
Honourable Minister Dr Jitendra Singh ji, Honourable Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha Kamakhya Tasa Dangoria, Amar Chairman iConnect and Member Niti Ayog Padma Bhushan Dr V.R. Saraswat, Director NESIT Dr. G. Narahari Sethi, other all dignitaries who present, their speech here, and director and several wings of CSIR, and especially all members and families of NIST here. I am very happy to part of this important occasion, and more happy because you have chosen my state for launching the iConnect. This effort is unique. Whole our country is celebrating this 75 years of independence, and various programs are going on under the banner Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. As I have been informed that iConnect or Industry Connect will be cover 75 iConnect event with 10 specific themes such as science and technology, innovation, incubation, ecosystem, agri, nutri-biotech, healthcare, climate change, mining, materials, and etc. with the objective to ensure and Atmanirbharshil Bharat. Our country, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has been putting all out effort in making our country Atmanirbhar and indigenously develop the technologies are contributing greatly to achieve that goal. During COVID-19 pandemic, our scientists have proved their abilities and developing the vaccine and other healthcare facilities in such a short period, and now other countries are looking at us. In the area of space, nuclear energy, defense research, biotechnology, and agriculture also we are showing commendable progress. Ministry of Science and Technology, under the leadership of Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, has been able to create a commendable progress in the supporting the scientific community through these different wings like Department of Science and Technology, CSIR, Department of Biotechnology, and Technology Development Board. Efforts of Ministry of Arts Science, Department of Atomic Energy are also appreciable. I hope that CSIR compendium of technologies for Northeast, which has been released today, will be able to help the entire Northeastern region in developing the technology-based entrepreneurship. In our state also, we are trying to create a proper ecosystem of innovation through the various initiatives. My department is also trying to promote the local innovators through small financial support and mentoring. Efforts are being made to encourage biotech-based startup through that state biotech policy and Guwahati Biotech Park, and we are now ready to give more focus in the climate change issues through different programs. To give more focus on the climate change issue by Department has been renamed recently as Science and Technology and Climate Change Department. You will be happy to know that the Patent Information Center set up by DST, Government of India, at Assam Science and Technology Environment Council has been rewarded and the best PIC in the country in the 2020 by Department of Promotion of the Industry and International Trade. I am taking this opportunity to request the Honourable Dr. Jitendra Singh ji to support the mentor and the state S&T programs in a bigger way. More active participation of the state only will make the efforts of the program like iConnect more meaningful. because using the networking abilities of the state's Science and Technology Council, you can always have better connection with the people and enterprise and entrepreneurships. Once again, I thank Honourable Jitendra Singh ji and then organizers of making me part of the auspicious occasion to launch the iConnect program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for boosting our morale with your kind words. In the role of Vice President CSIR, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honourable Union Minister for Ministry of Science and Technology, Earth Science, Prime Minister's Office, PMO, Personal Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, and Department of Space, has been instrumental in catalyzing the growth of CSIR and has always motivated and inspired us to script new success stories in the R&D saga of CSIR, especially in the endeavor to create a technology brand and a towering example of translational research for expediting the industrial growth of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a rousing applause to our role model, luminary, and intelligentsia, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, as we invite him to deliver his speech. Thank you, sir. So please.
Seated beside me, Honourable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology, Government of Assam, and a veteran leader in his own right, Shri Keshav Mahata ji. You just now heard him, full of enthusiasm and zeal to serve this region. Alongside him, another very dear and a long-standing friend, Dasa ji. We've been together in the Parliament for many years. He was earlier in the Lok Sabha, and we shared a very close comradeship. Member of the Niti Aayog and an eminent scientist in his own right, Dr. Saraswat. Director of the institute where we are holding this program today, Dr. Shastri. Directors of some of the important institutes of CSIR across the country, seated besides me and in front of me. Members of the fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, the main attraction of this afternoon's program, the startups, the entrepreneurs, the innovators. I usually don't go by the prepared text and try to gather what I have seen around. And I must say that I am going back quite impressed and also wiser than before, having gone through the exhibition and gone through the manner in which the stalls have been put up with a lot of enthusiasm and passion by each one of the participants, mostly the youngsters. And as was being mentioned by one of the earlier speakers, that we chose to begin this series of 75 events from Northeast, from Jorhat. I think without being modest, I must confess that when we hit upon this idea, the question was where to start it from. But I was very sure right from the first moment that we are not going to have it in Vigyan Bhavan. Because by repeatedly holding these events in Vigyan Bhavan, we have actually abused that name of Vigyan. So we should actually be closer to the stakeholders of Vigyan. So we were sure that we were going to have it out of Delhi, but then where? So there were a number of venues suggested. But yes, it was my suggestion that we would begin it from Northeast. And there were 2 or 3 reasons for this. A, that it stands very high on the priority of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. You would recall soon after he took over in 2014, one of the earliest statements he made was that he would bring such regions of the country which had somehow lost the mainstream at par with the more developed regions, be it the Northeast, be it the Jammu and Kashmir territory or the island territories. And I think over the last 8 years we have walked the talk, the manner in which transformation has happened in this region. The second reason, which might not be realized today but would be realized very soon or sooner than later, is that as we move on with this startup business and we are saturated with the potentials elsewhere, it is Northeast which is going to offer us unexplored potentials. And therefore this is going to be the destination for the future startups and future entrepreneurs, even for the future investors. And therefore I asked my office to get me connected to Keshav Mahatta ji. Often it happens that the request comes from the state. This time the request was being made from the center. So I said if he is prepared, we'll go to Jorhat. He was traveling, we couldn't connect him, he got back. And I must appreciate and also thank him, he was so enthusiastic. Without losing a minute, he said yes, they'll be very happy to have the beginning of this series of 25 iConnect events from Jorhat. And I'm glad that he's there with his team today. See, one thing what we have noticed through this display today is that we have enough capacity amongst our youngsters. And as the Prime Minister says that we are in the 75th year of independence, the next 25 years are going to be very important because they'll lay the roadmap for what India is going to be like at 100. And I don't think I hardly need to reiterate that this journey of next 25 years is going to rest to a great extent on the shoulders of these startups. Therefore, the challenge immediately, which we may not be addressing very consciously, may not be today, is that I think twofold. A, how best to sustain these startups. You've got to sustain them for 25 years so that they are there to celebrate the century of India or the centenary India as startups, not as startups who started and ended up as babus or ended up as housewives or ended up as educational elsewhere. Because the entire economy is going to be technology based. So we have technology driven. So we have a huge stake in sustaining them. The second challenge would be sustainable startups, as I said, with indigenous innovation. If you have to make a mark in the world arena, you have to have some exclusiveness. And that exclusiveness will come from your indigenous innovation. And therefore, I think this is a thought that I'm going to leave with you all and also leave with myself. This is what was occurring to my mind when I was listening to all the earlier speakers that were going around in the last 2 hours is, how do we sustain ourselves, sustain these huge talent pool that we have of startups, and how to make them more saleable in the market by giving them some kind of exclusiveness, which can happen only if we have indigenous, our own original innovation, rather than innovation which is inspired, emulated, and I would not say pilfered from elsewhere. Like, for example, when Dr. Sri Ram was talking about his leather shoes, I think most of us from my generation have heard of this leather factory for as many years as we have lived. It's virtually as old as the independent India. And no doubt the product is recognized all over. But why not till today we had at least one leather brand shoe from Madras which would have takers across the world? Because we didn't produce a brand. To sustain and to brand, we need to have innovation which is exclusive, indigenous, and original. when I was listening to him, of course, he made a very passionate presentation. The thought that immediately occurred with me, because I am a man of anecdotes, though can't call myself a storyteller because you don't get captive audience these days. The thought that occurred to me is that his factory is located in Adyar, south Madras. The north of Madras, you have that place called Perry's Corner. If you go there right opposite the High Court, you have a restaurant run by a Kerala family. He serves a paratha there because innovation doesn't happen only in the laboratory. He serves a paratha which is something like the Moolchand paratha in Delhi. You have the metro station Moolchand and you have a queue of motor cars there waiting for their turn to have that paratha, particularly the lunch break. A similar replica of this in a different manner is being produced by this restaurant, I think Nainan restaurant, what is. He puts lots of egg and stuff and mutton and all those things, that prepares a wholesome. And for nearly 4 decades, that paratha has become popular all over as Ceylon paratha. That's what he calls it, because there was a time when Sri Lanka was known as Ceylon, Sri Lanka radio was known as Ceylon radio. Many years back, I had a team of medicos from Sri Lanka. One of them was known to me very closely. So for lunch, I took him there. So when he was having that, I said, how did you like it? He said, very nice. I said, back home, you must be having it very often. He said, no, honestly speaking, I'm having this Ceylon paratha for the first time in Chennai. It's not available in Ceylon. So see the kind of branding, that's all innovation. There was this intelligent group of people, and I think the third generation is now still surviving and sustaining. So that is sustainable startup with indigenous innovation. And how you evolve it is all your skill and your art, the kind of name that you give. And therefore, the economy, as I said, is going to be technology driven. And therefore, the prerequisites will also be twofold. A, to have an ecosystem which combines technology with the instruments of economy. So what are the instruments of economy? Essentially the industry, and hence the relevance of this industry connect. And second, as I said, the startups who are sustainable, who also have the capacity of innovating, and that innovation also has to be a dynamic process. Because the innovation may not sustain unless you go to the next generation, the next step. And therefore, I'm glad that this program, as I was going through these papers which were given just now, has provision of plenary talks, B2B meetings, roundtable discussions, etc. But what I understand is that research and industry share a reciprocal relationship. So both are equally dependent on each other. May not necessarily for surviving, but at least if they wish to thrive and grow. And I try to explain how. For example, for the research to reach from lab to land, you have to have the support of the industry. And you have to make it a source of livelihood. Otherwise, it will remain confined to the lab, and it will get superannuated with the superannuation of the concerned laboratory man at the age of 60. So, if you have to make research an application in your life, and also an application which moves out of the confines of the research chamber, it has to have the support of the industry. And similarly, but the industry, again, as I've been insisting in the last few months, has to have equal stake in research. what we have been practicing conventionally, because maybe that might have been relevant in the earlier times. We have governing bodies, we have society, even in CSIR, I have suggested that we could give it a relook. We nominate industry representatives as members, and then we start getting suggestions कि पिछली बार वो corporate था, इस बार उसको कर दो, as if we are obliging one after the other, and they also get the membership, enhance their profile and move on. But on what criteria have you given them nomination? Just because somebody known to me now being in the in a pharma sector and the advisory of many of the MNCs dealing with them, I virtually know everybody. Even when I was not in this department, I would receive requests from the pharma houses. पिछली बार साने वाला था जी, इस बार कैडिला वाला हूँ मैं, मुझे कर दे. We don't have an objective criteria. That is one of the impediments which retards our growth at par with the Western societies, which move totally based on systemic objectiveness. वो इस तरह उसको इसका किया था, इसको इसको किया, and he moves on with enhanced profile. So we can devise a mechanism where the industry representatives are made to understand that they would also have to invest in coin, not in kind. Let them suggest what kind of startups they need. We have all the technical know-how. So much of support being provided by us. We will prepare, we will support the kind of man hands that they require, but then let them take the ownership so that they will feel the pinch once the project is done with, and they will take them back. So there will be a source of livelihood, because unless you link it with livelihood, the startup will not sustain, and the industry will also have a stake. We have tried this successfully. Only 2 weeks back, I think for the first time, we entered into a kind of a project partnership where 100 crore was spent by us and 100 crore by one of the corporate houses. I hope we'll try to grow that further. So that is the relationship of the research with industry to sustain research. And as I said, reciprocal, which means what is the relationship of research with industry? And as I said, then the innovation has to be a dynamic phenomenon. So how would it be dynamic? The industry representative has contributed 50% of the financial investment, but he may not be skilled at innovating. So again, he falls back on the research. So the relationship also becomes sustained. Both become so dependent. It's like, husband-wife. Very often you want to walk your way, but then bacche ho gaye, 2 ho gaye, 3 ho gaye. So some or the other excuse keeps you moving on. You spend all your life. A very common story in the Indian households. So for an industry, once he becomes a stakeholder with an equal investment, then he knows that now that I have invested, I have to sustain, I have to carry this brand forward, I have to keep innovating. This brand shoe produce also has to keep improvising. And for that he goes back to the researcher. Says, look here, now you tell me, you gave me this shoe, now you tell me how pointed it could be, how long it could be. So this reciprocal relationship is important for us. That is the lesson that I gathered today. And because we are not going to take long, I think Northeast has a lot of biodiversity, fruit, agriculture, textile, handicrafts, and bamboo, of course. And very recently, in fact, during the present tenure of the Prime Minister only, in order to give a fillip to bamboo, we amended 2 important laws. One was the Indian Forest Act, 100 years ago, made by the British, homegrown bamboo exempted, so that the youngsters could earn their livelihood from there itself. The import tax on bamboo products also hiked to 25%. Earlier, because agarbatti alone is giving you 5,000 to 6,000 crore business every year. So the entire agarbatti was coming from Korea, Vietnam, China, and every household was using it right from puja throughout the day. So in order to discourage that, to encourage home production, domestic production, that has been taken. So I'm sure we could also propagate that among our youngsters to avail of these new facilitating avenues or enabling avenues which have been brought in by the Modi government. And I'm sure you, Dr. Shastri, and your team being here assume a special importance because you are placed in Northeast. So Northeast somehow is being treated with some kind of a favored attitude by the center. You could avail of it. The Honourable Prime Minister has made almost as many as 60 visits to Northeast before COVID set in, which I said one day in his presence, I think at Itanagar, maybe more than the total number of visits by the earlier Prime Minister. So someday, if we could have some program befitting the position of Prime Minister, I'm sure we could also have him here. He may not be so amenable going elsewhere, but he would be here. So you have that special importance and opportunity which you can avail. Sometimes the opportunity is there that we are not aware of the opportunity. So somebody else seizes the opportunity. And secondly, you also have the special advantage because, as I said, you are a land of unexplored potentials. So much of it. When I came here in 2014, the first thing I realized was that nearly 40% of fruit was lying waste on these streets. And I carried the papaya into my room in the guest of the whole thing lit up with the fragrance. So I went back and told some of the food industry in Delhi, I said, why don't you go there and start preparing these fruit juices, because you will get free fruit lying on the streets and you will be able to serve the community with the real juice, not that real juice which is served in Delhi, which is quite unreal, full of sugar and color. They came here, they tried, but they could not make it because the cost effectiveness was not there, carriage and all. That also has been now taken care of by the present government. So we have huge advantage here, huge opportunity, and also a preferred approach by the center. And I think if the ultimate aim of all the entrepreneurship and innovation is to bring ease of living in the life of a common man, then that cannot be possible unless we connect with the common man. So I'm sure this Industry Connect initiative will also help us get more closely connected to the common man. Thank you.
Dear sir, we are indeed highly obliged for infusing us with renewed energy and enthusiasm to deliver our best. Every good beginning comes to a point of culmination. As we come to the close of today's function, I invite our director, Dr. Shastri, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. We are indeed honored and delighted. Not only that our Honourable Minister has given us the consent to conduct it here, he himself has come, and his highly intellectual speech about many things, about the potentials that are there in startups and the necessity to be systematic, objectiveness, and also pointing out that industry is to be an equal partner, and the sustainability and branding, whereas the unexplored potential that is there in the country, this is probably the right time for all of us to have to realize that Northeast is not at the back seat, it is at the driving seat, and the Honourable Minister is very enthusiastic, and I am equally thankful to our Honourable Minister for Science and Technology and Health, Shri Keshav Mohantaji, and it was very rare that Mantriji himself will call and then say that he will be coming to us. It happened in the last 3 months two times. First, he came here to felicitate Dr. Binay Kumar Saikia, and when we are trying to do this INSOC genome sequencing, the minister has brought the NHM director, Dr. Lakshmanan, along with the Guwahati Medical College and Jorhat Medical College superintendents of police, superintendents, to start their genomic sequencing in their hospitals. Thank you very much, sir, for your unconditional support. And our own beloved Shri Kamaki Prasad Tasaji is always there with his support. Whenever he comes, and he always is full of enthusiasm. And we are delighted also to have Padma Bhushan Dr. V.K. Saraswat ji. And this is a great coincidence that Sir has worked very closely with the late President APJ Abdul Kalam, and I have been following his work for the last several decades. And just when we celebrated the Technology Day yesterday, he is one of the persons who has been a visionary in many areas, and he worked very closely with a large number of laboratories. Thank you, sir, for coming. This particular event was conceived by the DSIR, the Dr. Shekhar Mande and Dr. Rajesh Ghucle currently, and the DSC Secretary Dr. Chandrasekhar. And most of the thing was done by Dr. Vibha Malhotra Sahani from headquarters and headquarters team, and all my directors of NBRI, CMAP, IIIM Jammu, CFTRI, CLRI, and IHBT Palampur. They have come here physically. And more importantly, many of the heads of the institution of the Northeast and entrepreneurs. The list is endless, and I will be missing many of them. But thank you very much for all your enthusiastic participation. And more importantly, none of this could have been so smooth without the support of our Shri Barmanji, the Deputy Commissioner of Jorhat, and he is such a nice person, and we want his wholehearted support is there. Thank you, sir. And more importantly, our dynamic Superintendent of Police, Meenaji, and our airport officials, and I'm sorry that we will be missing somebody, but definitely we will be very, very happy that the Honourable Mantriji has chosen Northeast, and this is a very, very good beginning. The iConnect program that he has started will definitely connect the industry, and in this very auspicious Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, our country is really going in the path to celebrate our centenary celebrations. And I thank from the bottom of my heart the Honourable Minister and all the team for giving this opportunity to Jorhat. And also in a thing like this, there may be something which might not go accordingly. If there is any inadequacy, please bear with us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request everybody to present here to kindly rise from the respective seats and remain in standing position until and unless the national anthem is over.
तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for making up to this program. And with this, we come to the close of the inaugural session of iConnect. I hope you all had a good time. And this is Bijit Kumar Chaudhary signing off for the day. Thank you.